going to continue the session on C programming. This session, we are going to cover pointers. So now let us open up the terminal app. Let us create a new file named as pointers.c. Now what is a pointer? A pointer is a variable that stores address of a memory location where data is stored. Now why do we need pointers? We need pointers to directly interact with the data which is stored inside the memory. Now what is the difference between a normal variable and a pointer variable? A variable is a name given to a memory location, and a pointer variable is a variable that stores the address of the memory location. To understand this in a better way, I'll take an example. Suppose we decided to have a get together at my home. We means my friends. So on Google Map, I save my location as Anshuman's home, and then I ask my friends to search for Anshuman's home on Google Maps. One of my friends called me back and told me that we do not use Google Maps, we use Apple Map. And one of my other friends called me back and told me we do not use Google Map, we use GPS directly on our car. Then I realized if I share my latitude and longitude to my friends, it can be accessible from any maps like Google Map or Apple Map or Microsoft Map or any other maps. Okay. So the named location of my house is a variable, and the latitude and longitude are the location of my house, which is a pointer. Now let us write a simple program using normal variables and pointer variables. Main return 0. First, I will declare two variables, a pointer variable and a normal variable. So first I'll take x and a pointer variable known as px, a pointer x. Okay. Now I'll take the user's input to initialize the value inside the x and px. Okay. So I'll give a printf. Enter the value for x variable. Okay. And then I'll use scanf %d as the format specifier and variable x to the ampersand. I'll copy these two lines. I'll change the variable name. And over here I don't need to give ampersand because it's a pointer as it stores the address. Okay. Now I'll print the address and the value of x and px. So I'll type printf value, I'll give x, value %d and address %u. The format specified to print the address is %u, and here I'll take x. And how do I print the address? So I have to use %x, which will print the address. Okay. I'll copy this, paste it here. Now how do I print a value which is stored inside the pointer? I'll change this as px. So to print a value, we have to use value at, which is pointer, the asterisk, and over here we have to just use px because it's stored the address. Give the \n. \n. Over here too, I'll give one \n. So now I'll compile and execute this code. This is C pointers.c. Okay, let's execute it now. I'll give 9 and 2. Okay, it's printing the value and address where the value is stored in the memory. Now we'll see one of the uses of pointers. So for this, I'll create a new file named as swap.c. We'll swap two numbers. Okay, so I'll type in hash include stdio.h and main. Oh, I give double I, brackets, and return 0. Now I'll declare two integer variables x and y. Now I'll give the code to accept two values through the keyboard. So I'll give a printf enter value for x variable scanf %d and %x. Copy these two lines. I'll change x as y and over here too. Okay, now I will create a function to swap the numbers. So I'll give the return type as void, give the name as swap, and I'll take two arguments for the variable for the function. So I'll take first as int x and int y. Like that. Inside this, I'll declare another variable known as temp. So first I'll initialize temp with x, and then x with y, and y with temp. Okay, now I'll call this function. I'll give a printf \n. I'll give before swap. I'll print the values. So x is %d and y%d. Over here I have to use x and y. Then I'll call the function swap. I'll pass the parameters, and then I'll copy this, paste it here, and change this to after swap. So now let us compile and execute this code. So gcc swap.c. Oh, I gave the wrong spelling of return. So compile it. There are no compilation errors or warnings, so I can continue. I'll execute it. Okay, so I'll give this as 9, this one as 2. Oh, the values are constant. It did not change. You see, before swap is 9 and 2, and after swap is 9 and 2. Clear the screen. Now let us see that what will happen after we copy these two lines and paste it in the swap function. So I'll copy this, paste it, copy that line and paste it here. I'll give a indicator that is from this function, or I'll put an indicator excuse me, and this one also a swap. Okay, and here I'll use int. I'll give main, and over here main. Okay, now let us compile and execute this code. Compile swap.c. There are no compilation errors or warnings, so I can continue. Okay, first I'll give 5 and 4. Okay, now you see that in the main it's 5 and 4, in swap it's 4 and 5. I'll go back to the code. Did you guys notice something? I've done such a funny blunder. I wrote the before and after the swap. So I have to actually give the before the swap. Okay? I'll compile and execute this code again. So gcc swap.c. There are no compilation errors or warnings, so I'll execute it. I'll give 8 and 1, the 2. Now see, in the function the x is 8 and 2 before swap, and after swap is 2 and 8. But the mains x and y are same. Why? Is it a magic? No. Though the variable names are same, x and y, they are different. They are stored in different memory locations. So when you invoke the swap function, it will copy the value which is stored inside the x and y of the main function and copy it into the swap functions x and y, and then it will swap the value of x and y in the swap function. Okay. To resolve this problem, we have to use pointers. Okay. Now how do we do it? So instead of int x, I'll take int pointer x and y. Now over here also I have to change the value. The variable name I have to give asterisk to print the value, which is value at operator. So now I'm initializing the value which is stored inside x into the temp. Value at operator, and I don't need temp because it's already integer variable. It's not going to store any address. Now I'll change this one. Okay. And instead of x and y here, I have to use ampersand because I use pointer over there. Now why did I use pointers? I use pointers so that it can access the value which is stored inside the mains x and y. Okay. So I'll give ampersand address of x and y. Okay. Now I'll compile and execute this code. So I'll give gcc swap.c. Okay, there are no compilation errors or warnings, so I can continue. First I'll give 9 and 5. Okay, it's swapped. As you see, in main is 9 and 5, in swap is 9 and 5. After in swap is 5 and 9, and main it's 5 and 9. Means our program is working fine. In this video, we have seen the first use of pointers where a normal variable cannot be used. In the upcoming videos, we'll see more uses of pointers. Thank you for watching this video, and I hope you found this video interesting.